Hey y'all, so this is Andrea here at VW Family Farm. This video is going to be a bit different. I promised you guys this last video that I was going to do a video on the state of affairs for the small farmer in America, or really across the world, and that's what I'm going to do. This is not a depressing video. This is not a doom and gloom video. This is where we're at video. So you can see in some of that footage that there are dry ponds. There's been no rain. The hay baler is sitting in its spot because there's been no rain to grow the grass in the hay fields. My yard is dead. The fields are crunchy where the cows are. There's nothing much out there for them to graze. It's a dire situation. Even yesterday we had storms around us as little as 30 miles away, and we still got not a drop of rain. You can see Ben pulling in that clip. He shouldn't be home till dark, just to be honest with you. Why is he home mid-afternoon? Because there's just not enough hay fields that have grass in them to cut right now. We should be well into our second cutting of hay, and this is usually our best cutting. This is where we make our hay for the winter. The first cutting, we get a decent amount, but the second cuttings, when warm season grasses really kick in, and we are, for lack of a better word, making hay while the sun shines. But that's just not the case this year. And I mentioned some people around us got rain even yesterday. And while we didn't get any, there was rain in our county. It's gonna take more than just one shower anyway. I wish we could have got some rain yesterday, but we're so lacking right now that they're saying that even if we got a very, very decent amount of rain, it would take a month for the ground to recover. We're talking there's dirt in some places. You can see my yard out through there, how it's brown. That is all Bermuda grass. That's a warm season summer grass. It should be in full swing. You can see leaves on the ground. It's July, y'all. Leaves should not be on the ground crunching underfoot. That's because the trees are starting to suffer from this lack of water. Now, I received some comments on the last video that people were saying, it's not like that everywhere. You're portraying it like it's hard times everywhere, and we've had rain. We're getting rain, we're wet, and all these things, and I say, God bless. That is awesome. I'm so thankful that you are, but rain is not our only problem. Although you did see our dry ponds in some of the clips, we're having to irrigate water. We're having to use some city water just to get water to all the animals, as well as we're trying to pump out of what ponds we do have still holding water to other ponds, because pigs have to have places to waller. They have to have places to cool off. It's just the fact of it. We're trying to take care of the animals that we have. Not to mention gas prices. They have increased so dramatically this year alone in 2022, not to mention they were rising before that and putting a strain on people. If you're on a tight budget, gas is probably eating your lunch right now. On top of that, let's talk about fertilizer that most farmers put on their field. Now, our ultimate goal is to rotationally graze and sequester carbon and keep it in our ground and have fertile, thriving pastures just simply from the cows fertilizing it. But the honest truth is we're not there yet. So we do have to use commercial fertilizer sometimes. One thing people don't realize is commercial fertilizer is a petroleum product, and so you know what that means. It's increased as well. Fertilizer from this time last year has increased 3 to 4 times as much. And we're talking thousands upon thousands of dollars to try to get enough grass and animal feed to feed your animals and sustain through the winter. So I'm out here in our hay barn, and you might say, well, just go buy hay this year and just take out a loan and go buy hay this year to get yourself through, and just worry about it next year. Make your money back next year. If everyone's gonna sell their cows, don't sell yours because the market's flooded and the cows aren't gonna bring anything. Well, here's a couple of problems with that. You gotta find hay to buy. And if you do, because most people are in the same predicament as us, fertilizer is expensive, diesel is expensive. Even I was talking about gas prices a while ago, but diesel has more than doubled as well. It's really, really expensive. It's more expensive than gasoline. And so all the prices for every farmer has increased everywhere. And so their hay is gonna be way more than it used to be. The price has shot way up for hay, if you can even find it, because around here, and not just right around here, I'm talking about in the South, we are in a drought. So that means everyone is going to be short of hay, and the prices have increased. So it's just a perfect storm. And as far as getting a loan, even if you can buy some hay, the interest rates have went up so much that even getting a loan is more expensive. So you may be thinking, okay, so you've told us all the bad things, all the things that are happening to farmers. What is the point? So it's bad news, we get it. Well, I want to tell you what our plan is here at VW Family Farm and what we plan to do to make it through this. So obviously, these are 2 of our South Pole cows and their calves, and they're right here at the house. They're actually in a pasture. It has a lot of weeds in it, so don't let the green fool you. But they do have some grass in here because this is a very small pasture. I usually just kept a milk cow or 2 in here to milk them. So they do have more than most. If I took you out to the beef cows, it's very, very barren. It's pitiful actually, and it will make you sick if you're a farmer, because you start thinking, okay, I got to take some drastic measures here. So obviously this pasture right here shows you if you reduce the pressure on your fields, maybe you had a good year on grass last year, and so your fields are a little bit overstocked, meaning you have too many head per acre. And we don't normally, but in this situation we do, because there's just not any grass. Now I could go sell them all today and there's still not going to be any grass. But I would encourage you to think about reducing your herd. I know the market is flooded. I know prices are cheap at the sale barn, but when we do get rain and when things start to recover, the less pressure you have on your land, the faster it's going to recover. So take a good long look at your animal situation, whether that's cows or whatever it is you have that's out on grass. And if you have some that are just flat out not productive, they don't calve in a timely manner, they stay in heat for cycle after cycle until they finally get bred, that's not an animal you want to keep in a situation like this. So probably our next video you see, we're going to be working cows. We're getting them up. We have picked out 13 of our mama cows, and they're going to be going. There's just no choice at this point. We have to start putting out hay because we don't have enough grass, and so the less hay we have to put out now in a time that we don't normally feed hay, the less we have to put out is going to make the winter better, because we have to have it in the winter. So first thing I would encourage you to do is take a good long hard look at your herd. If you can find hay close by you, and you have the money or the means to borrow the money or whatever you need to do to get that hay, I don't know your situation, get that hay. Get that hay and try to keep your herd if that's what you're wanting to do, but you've got to do one of those 2 things. You've got to get your hands on enough hay for them, or you've got to sell some. Another major thing I want to encourage you guys is have no shame. We just bought this car I'm leaning on. It is an 05 Ford Taurus. It actually was my car. I bought it new when Emily was a baby, but now it's 17 years old. Actually, my parents bought this years ago, and as some of you know, my dad recently passed away. My mom downsized to 1 vehicle. This has been sitting for quite some time, and we bought it. She has a rough paint job, but her air is cold, and she runs good, and she saves us about half as much as our cheapest vehicle was costing us in gas. She costs half of that. So I'm using this to make meat deliveries and drive places just in town. But I'm gonna be honest, she doesn't look the best. She's 17 years old. She's had some miles put on her, but it is saving us fuel, which is in turn saving us money and allowing us to keep going. Because this day and time, you just have to find ways to save and do your best. And along the lines of saving fuel in your vehicle, saving fuel in your farm equipment, in your tractors, our fields have some weeds in them right now. They're not hurting anything. They're not huge. They're not like shading out the grass or anything like that. We'd like to get them clipped and cut back down, but that's just, in our opinion, a waste of our fuel right now and time. And it's so hot outside and our tractor is struggling with the air. So that's just not happening right now. That will just have to be put off until fuel prices are a little bit cheaper, or maybe just in the fall we'll do it one time for the year and be done with it. But avoiding things that are unnecessary that use fuel, because it is so expensive. And finally, rain. And I hate to tell you, I don't have any advice for that. It's like I told Ben yesterday. We were driving through a thunderstorm, but we weren't at home and it wasn't raining at our place. Rain will come when the Lord is ready for our farm to have rain. And until then, we have to trust and we have to hold on. And I hope and pray that each of you can hold on and not have to make major life adjustments, not have to sell animals, not have to change your way of doing things. But just be open to that you might. That could be God calling you into deeper trust of Him. And just seeing if your faith is just something you talk about or if it's something you actually have when hard times come. Because that's what we're in, is hard times. It's hard times all around. All these things I just mentioned to you, you might think, oh well, I'm not really a farmer, so I'm sorry, that stinks for you guys, but it doesn't really affect me. All of these things affect everybody. Everyone eats. And all of this comes back to your food supply. Yours and mine and everyone else's. I don't care if you eat meat or if you're a vegan or if you are something else altogether. The price of all these things affects us all, because all of our food is affected by fuel prices, if nothing else, as well as a lot of other things I've mentioned. So just, if it doesn't affect you directly for your livelihood, it's gonna probably affect your pocketbook. So I think it's time for America to pray, to humble ourselves and pray and seek the Lord. And He's never failed us yet, and I don't believe He's going to now. Thanks for watching, and that's some of our plans here, but ultimately a lot of these things are out of our control. But we're gonna keep filming, keep documenting for you guys. Sometimes I know people say, oh, y'all have had it so rough, but don't mistake, we are so blessed and we're so thankful. See you guys later. God bless.